Hey, what's up? All right, guys, so this is another devlog we got going on here. We are working on something called smart commits. Now, this is pretty cool. Now, before when this progress bar fills up, let me blow this up for you all a little bit bigger. So when this progress bar fills up, what that is tracking all the files, and you can see on the hover information, 3 files, 379 lines have been changed. So it's quite a bit of code. I'm setting my threshold, I think it's like to 2,000 lines before it's like, okay, red alert, like let's commit the changes and save our work properly, right? So what we created was smart commits. This is this right here recently. Before I was having this commit message auto generate. So it was always using tokens, which is one thing I wanted to stop doing automatically, just in case if I just wanted to do the commit message by hand, or whatever the case may be. And one of those other cases would be smart commits. So smart commits is something that is really nice. It's working behind the scenes. I can close the modal. I can go into another conversation, talk about the weather, yada yada yada. If I go back to the Git flow, I can see it's still working. So what it's doing, it's looking at all those changes throughout the 3 files, 379 lines changed, right? And it's creating smart commits. It's creating commits. Well, it should create commits. Now let's debug it together. But the idea here is the pseudocode in my brain here is it's gonna hopefully create smart commits where each commit is laid out in a very particular way based on all the changes that were made. So it analyzes all the changes and then it creates these commits that are ordered and make sense. So if human readable, right? If you go back through it and you can see, oh yeah, I see this is one commit that changed something specific on the front end, and then another commit that changed something specific on the back end, and then another commit that was flagged as a refactor, and then another commit that was maybe a bug fix. So it's just like you can really organize them instead of just lumping it all into one message and being like YOLO for your Git message, or even if it was really structured Git message. Let's say we had AI, which we had been doing. We just are now creating this new flow, but this is the large commit message that it gives, which it's pretty big, and there's a lot of changes that are within that. So instead of having this one big commit message, it's nice to be able to do recall on the building pattern and building flow for a particular artifact in time, or an application artifact, right? So when you're training your systems, your models, you could train them off a particular Git flow, Git commit flow, and those patterns that were created while that app was being made. And maybe there's reasons for you to believe that you wanted to figure out specific patterns of a specific application, and if they shared this sort of information, maybe on a public repo or something like that, then you could analyze it and you could kind of see how well their commit messaging is structured with their maybe to-do list, their plan for the next sprints, and so on and so forth, and the previous ones. So let's debug this. Let's see. Analyze smart commits. Changes failed to parse. Oh, it's just a parsing thing. So I think what they did is tried to implement some regex that did not work. So let's tell them. So it looks like the regex function that we attempted to get to work to be able to parse is not working, or maybe something else is going on here, but I believe that was where we left off. So plug in an ultrathink there. Sorry, let's stop that business. Okay, that's good. What's over there? Oh yeah, that's that Jensen Huang video. Let's watch a piece of that while we wait.
At very large scale, quite broadly all over the United States for the very first time. The number of construction workers, plumbers, electricians, technicians, network engineers, right? The number of the skilled labor that's necessary to support this new industry in the near term, it'll be enormous. Let's just face it. I'm so excited to hear that electricians are seeing their paychecks double. They're being paid to travel. Like us, we go on business trips. They're going on business trips, and so it's really terrific to see, that these three industries are now three types of plants, factories are just creating so much jobs. The next part is the near term impact of AI on jobs. And one of my favorites is and I love Jeff Hinton. He said, uh, some 5, 6, 7 years ago, that in 5 years' time, uh, AI will completely revolutionize radiology. That every single radiology application will be powered by AI, and that radiologists uh, will no longer be needed. And that he would advise the first profession not to go into is radiology. And he's absolutely right. 100% of radiology applications are now AI powered. That's completely true. And in some 8 years' time, it is now completely pervaded uh, radiology. However, what's interesting is that the number of radiologists increased. Mm-hmm. And so now the question is why? And this is where the difference between task versus purpose of a job. A job has tasks and has purpose. And in the case of a radiologist, the task is to study scans, but the purpose is to diagnose disease.
And to do research.
And that exactly, and they're doing research. And so in their case, the fact that they're able to study more scans more deeply, they're able to request more scans, do a better job diagnosing disease. The hospital's more productive. They can have more patients, which allows them to make more money, which allows them to want to hire more radiologists. And so the question is, what is the purpose of the job versus what is the task that you do in your job? And as you know, I spend most of my day typing. That's my task. But my purpose is obviously not typing. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that somebody could use AI to automate a lot of my typing, and I really appreciate that, and it helps a lot, it hasn't really made me, if you will, less busy. In a lot of ways, I've become more busy because I'm able to do more work. So I think that that's the second part to consider, is the task versus the purpose of the job.
This example really strikes home because my sister-in-law Erin actually leads in nuclear medicine at Stanford, right? Mm-hmm. So she's in radiology, and with all the technology advancements that are coming, these doctors really welcome it, and they are working 20 hours a day trying to do more research and serve more patients.
Exactly.
And I think one thing that is often missed beyond the sort of diversity of jobs being created by this investment in infrastructure is actually how much latent demand there is for different goods that we need in society, like better healthcare. I don't think anybody feels like, you know what, we have reached the tip top mountaintop of like what American healthcare or global healthcare would be. Exactly. And the more we can make these people productive, the more demand there will be.
That's exactly right. If NVIDIA was more productive, it doesn't result in layoffs. It results in us doing more things.
I
agree with that.
Class today. You seem to be hiring every week anyway. Yeah,
and that's exactly right.
Yeah,
right. The more productive we are, the more ideas we can explore, the more growth as a result, the more profitable we become, which allows us to pursue more ideas. And so I think you're absolutely right that if the job, if your life, if the world, the problems is literally already specified, and there's no other problem to solve, then productivity would actually reduce the economy, but it's clearly going to increase the economy. I think that the next part that I would consider is, people say, gosh, all of these robots that we're talking about, it's going to take away jobs. As we know very clearly, we don't have enough factory workers. Our economy is actually limited by the number of factory workers we have. Most people are having a very hard time retaining their workers. We also know that the number of truck drivers
Oops, I was on mute, y'all. But yeah, basically I was just telling it that, because what I'm trying to get done here is have all those smart commits come up, be able to queue the smart commits, so I don't have to wait until they come up. That would be fantastic. And ideally it would all work. Looks like this commit did not work. Let's see. So current smart commits created once commit, so commit likely. Okay, the UI is stuck showing partial commit, no retry option. Clears the smart commits UI state so you can reanalyze, does not undo the successful commit. It stays on the branch. Does not change any files. Your uncommit changes remain essential. Okay. Keep the successful commit, commit the rest. Recommended. Click on local, reopen git flow modal. Okay, so we'll just do that. Open the git flow modal. It reanalyzes. Okay. Or smart commits again. It will reanalyze only the remaining uncommitted files front end. Execute those commits. Okay. Hopefully this will work. Okay, beautiful. All right, so see, this is what I was talking about. I wonder, can I click? Yeah, so it says the featuring context, add autocomplete flow stated execution logic to smart commits context. Okay, great. Components, add commit and push with complete flow button to smart commits view. So these individual commits helps us truly break down each part of our push, each part of our pull requests as we merge into our main production branch. It's really good to have this built out. So now let's try the complete flow queued. So ideally it's going to reanalyze it, give us pretty much the same thing, and complete the flow queued. Now we could input something to check if there's no files or lines that were changed since the last commit, since the last smart commit analysis. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. So it worked, and then I clicked to reanalyze, and then it gave us this commit failed again. So that's interesting. Now if we go to done local, we'll try to see if we can pull this quick and get these. Hold on. Let's see if it's it might have something to do with the complete flow queued functionality. When I did not queue it, it shows up. Actually, it looks like it has less commits there now than it did when I first analyzed it. Interesting. Functionality, when I did not queue it, it shows up like this. When I did, it shows up with that error partial success alert. What else? I guess it's fine. I could try to complete the flow. I think I'm gonna try it. I think it worked. So yeah, so that means something with the queued button. I love it too, because honestly, I love it too because I can get Claude here to check the git flow here. So it's like I'm using this agent to create this kind of other agentic system, and I can always check my work with it. And then it's always nice to know that this whole entire app is powered by Opus 4.5 and just the latest Claude models, just because I've really enjoyed using them. Okay, so here's the issue. Okay, the problem: Git can't easily commit parts of a file separately. When one commit executes, it stages the entire smart commits context file, commits it, then commit 2 tries to stage. Oh, it's already fully committed. Commit failed. Nothing. This is a limitation of smart commits when the AI splits logical changes in the same file into multiple commits. Since you're on the preview screen with 2 commits and both target overlapping files, click commit only, not complete flow. Yeah, we definitely need to fix the problem at the source. I'm not sure how you want to do this, but something that I was thinking about earlier that might help with this issue is that if, well, you know, I'll let you decide if this actually helps or not, but I would like to add something that if files don't change and files don't change, lines don't change, nothing changes, and we had already ran a smart commit run, then and maybe we just never pressed complete flow, all of those smart commit cards should save in memory until files change. And if files change, then we'll just, you know, remove them or keep them and update them. I'll let you decide what you think is best on this. Let's discuss. The key word "let's discuss" it's a really good one. It saved me a lot of time going back and forth, because sometimes it'll just start creating, but let's discuss will usually, let's see if it starts. Sometimes it does start creating. Sometimes you have to force it into plan mode. But usually, let's discuss will kind of like, I don't know, make it just talk to you instead, make Claude just talk to you instead of implementing directly. Let's go back. Oh, all right, let's see what it says. Great thinking. Let me break this down. 2 related problems. Problem 1, same file commits fail, okay? The AI splits logical changes in one file into multiple commits, but Git stages entire files. Commit 2 fails because the file was already committed. Reanalysis is wasteful. If nothing changed, why reanalyze? The analysis should persist and only update when a file is changed. My proposed solution. For problem 1, merge commits that share files before execution. Perfect. Before executing, awesome. After merging, commit 1 plus 2 is merged. No failing issue there. Commit 3, different file. Great. This happens automatically in the backend. User sees merged commits, or we warned them before execution. For problem 2, cache analysis with file fingerprint. Interface, smart commit states. Existing fields. Okay, cache logic on analysis complete. Save fingerprint of current uncommit files. On modal reopen. Check of current uncommitted files, but match fingerprint. Match. Perfect. Show cached commits immediately. All right. What's the questions? This all looks good. Yes, okay. When files change, should we invalidate everything and require reanalysis? Keep commits for unchanged files. Mark changed ones as needs update. Auto reanalyze in background. No. For merge commits, should we silently merge and execute? For merged commits, should we silently merge and execute? number one, let's go with A. Number two, let's go with A. Number three, let's go with yes. Perfect. Popcorn with the white cheddar. Oh, it is so good. It's compacting. I love when they made that update. That was such a huge update for Claude Code. Just auto compacts your conversation, synthesizing, summarizing everything that you've talked about for the past, whatever the size the context window is now, and just compacts it, and then gives itself that package as context to continue on from where it left off. It's truly incredible.
Drivers in the world is severely short, and the reason for that is people don't want those jobs where you have to travel across the country and live in different parts of the world, different parts of the country, every single night. And so people want to stay in their town, stay with their families. So I think the first part is that having robotic systems is going to allow us to cover the labor shortage gap, which is really, really severe and getting worse because of aging population. This is not only in the United States, all over the world, as you guys know. And so we're going to cover the labor shortage. But the second part that people forget, and as a result,
there are shortages as well in other places that people talk about AI being relevant. Accounting would be an example where there's shortages there. Nursing is another example. So
severe shortage.
You can go through multiple other industries and say, okay, there's gaps, and AI is trying to help fill those gaps.
That's exactly right. And so automation is going to help us increase and solve the labor gap. Now, people also don't remember that when we have cars, we need mechanics to take care of our cars. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the robo taxis that are even on the streets today, it's taken 10 years for that to happen. Look at all the maintenance crews and all of the various hubs that they're in, where you have to take care of these robo taxis. And just imagine, we have 1 billion robots. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the largest repair industry on the planet. So I think a lot of people they just have to think through. Mm-hmm. And this is the part where you said, when we create this type of automation, we create this other job. Mm-hmm. Right now, look at AI is creating so many jobs. Mm-hmm. The AI industry is creating a boom of jobs.
I think one of the core challenges here is it's very easy to draw.
So I want to chime in. Yes, it's creating a lot of jobs. The problem is that people have to be willing to learn the job. And that means someone that's been doing the same thing for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or 50 years, they're going to be hard pressed to change their system if they have not been regularly updating their mental model, which is one of the issues with working in corporate environments that are very stale and not dynamic, or the things that are dynamic are like the very, very, very small things that don't really matter ultimately to a company that might be moving a lot differently, like a startup or like myself, like, you know, I'm developing a new feature damn near every day on my application, and I don't have to answer to anybody. I just do it. You know what I mean? I do it and then see if it works. If it works well, then I'll keep it. If it doesn't, then I put it away. So yes, it creates jobs, but that also means that you gotta have people to actually learn them and work them, which is, again, one of the main reasons I'm making CODA, is because it creates an opportunity for people to jump in and immediately get an idea for something to make, whether it's it doesn't matter, it could be anything. So I'm gonna make another button here that's just like, come up with your own general idea cone direction. I like to think of whenever I'm coming up with an idea, it's like a cone coming out from like the center of my head, like in this general direction, and then I like move my like focus, and then it's in that general direction. And to be able to like go into an application like mine and spin up 5, 10, 15 ideas within minutes in a utopia state, and, you know, some money loop state that you're spending money on in your life, and something in regards to first principle physics to create something in any of those spaces, but that just have 5 different ideas that you can look at and filter through and say, oh wow, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, but that's not cool, but this is cool. So then the system's going to start learning what you like too, if you want it to track in that sort of domain. But regardless of whether it knows what you like you find something that you like, and then you implement whatever you like with my system. And the project that you create with my system, it's really just using Claude, and I'm contextually engineering the application. So when you're inside of it, you know, you're getting help at every step if you want it. There's never a moment where you should feel lost in the application, like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to make. You know, at least there's going to be deciding moments for the human in the loop. And just like Jensen said, like, just because Claude is writing all of my code for this application doesn't make this application worthless. No, it's like, it's doing what I want it to do. It's making the nitty gritty. It's going through the nitty gritty processes that I don't know how to do, and it's creating what I want it to do. And luckily, I know enough about general programming practices to make sure that we're following suit and following the general procedure guideline on how to work in a large code base, proper refactoring, proper cleanup, you know, making sure we're saving our work, right? We're working on that git commit feature, the smart commit feature, which is something I added to my overarching system process too, for this as well, because right now I'm working outside of it for it, but I still am testing out certain Git flows with it a lot, and of course pulling up the Sparks tab and generating new Spark ideas under a underlying project that already exists. So as Claude and these systems just skyrocket in their ability, as long as you're building with some one of these systems, and you have a close-knit understanding of how to trigger these systems to give you what you want, you're going to be leagues ahead of yourself. You're going to be able to put out eons more work than you could ever fathom possible before, and it will be meaningful because you're asking for it. As long as you're asking for something that's meaningful, then you're gonna get an output that's meaningful. So it's a great metaphor for life too. Whenever I'm coding and I'm creating something new, like I wrote a book today Let's see. Your own words. Where is it? Where is it? Boom, 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 boom. I must have closed it. Boom, there it is. So I wrote this, oh, nice. It's giving me the print handles, I guess, the scaffolding for it, because I asked it to scaffold it in a way that is, interesting. I'll have to get it to tell me what it made here. But essentially, I'm working on a law student handbook as well. After a conversation with my dad today, he kind of inspired me to, I'm gonna write a handbook for someone who wants to go to law school. And instead of going to law school, they just pay me $10 for my book instead of, $200,000 for law school. And then they just make their own path within law. They just start practicing, right? Because there's a lot of ways for you to earn through lawmaking or practicing law, and in a formal way without actually going to law school. Who would have known? I didn't know. But when I started doing research through asking questions to these systems, I found out that there actually is a path that you could take. So just things like that, you can just create. Create so much so quickly. Let's see. It says implementation complete. Okay, here's a summary of the changes. Backend changes, merge overlapping commits. Great. Perfect, I love that. Caching with fingerprint creation file. Where'd I go? File count, lines added, lines deleted. Okay, great. Cache analysis, results keyed by project path. Cache validation. Gets current, gets status. Cache invalidation. How it works: first time opening, smart commits, analyze, changes, save to local storage, the fingerprint, reopening without file changes, cache hit, loads instantly from local storage, reopening after file changes, cache miss, fingerprint differs, reanalyzes automatically. Clicking reanalyze clears cache and forces fresh analysis. After successful commits, cache cleared, so next time starts fresh. That sounds ideal. Let's click here and see what we got. So we are going to just hold off and just check if it works how they said it's going to work. So the commits should scaffold. They should all be green, or they should all show up. And I'll close the modal and open the modal back to test to make sure that cache functionality still works. Okay, cool. So it labels this as a chore, a fix, and a feature. Awesome. So I can close the modal, go back in. It's still there. Great. Now let's close CODA. Go back and run it again. Let's check if there's any import warnings here in the top. Nothing. Cool. All right. That white screen wasn't ideal, but that's all right. I think we're good. Let me do that again, actually, because we should have had a splash screen. Yeah, okay, we got the splash screen. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, and here we are. Now if we go to smart commits, all right. Awesome, okay. Now we check some more functionality here. So we're gonna reanalyze, and I'm gonna queue up the flow. So it should just automatically just go. It probably won't even show me. Yeah, it quickly shows me those. Completing the flow. Okay, this is good. Oh my gosh. And the app should close. Yes, we did it. Let's go, man. I am stoked about that one. Yeah, that's the kicker. That's exactly what the doctor ordered. Fantastic. Cleared up the Git flow, nothing to be All right. This is all, let's check the PRs. Anything hanging? Nothing hanging, but that one dependabot one that actually doesn't matter. And nothing new. This is great, guys. Okay, so for the final test, for my final trick. All right, Claude, will you please double check your work by analyzing the commits and the PR, the merge, all of that we just did. We committed it through the smart commit scaffolding. So make sure to just double check that all of that looks like it processed according to plan within my Git tree. All right. Awesome. So I love, yeah, Claude has access to, I think he's probably using like GitHub CLI or some sort of other authenticated way into my my Git history on remote and local. Well, it always has the local, but it's pushing to remote as well. So it's every change that it's making, it's actually saving my spot in Git, which Git is very much a local process that you can save your work and return back to very particular moments in time. These commits, these merges, these pull requests, all of that can be done locally, so you can still benefit from it, but you also, so you could also, so it's checking each commit right now. It looks like it's finding them all. And you can also push it remotely, and it can go to a place called GitHub, github.com. Show you here. So GitHub, this is my dashboard. Let's go to my main. Wait, where is it going? Okay, here we go. Check out my epic profile picture. I love it. So see, like this, it's showing you all of these contributions, right? And actually my CODA home server, I see I have 206 commits. So if I can click to it there, we can see that 3 minutes ago, it's about right, we merged pull requests. So that is fantastic. And you get the breakdown of the details of the code. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Oh, we're still going here. And actually, let me go back to it really quick. I'm gonna go back in here and look at those commits. So I guess, yeah, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. There were these 3 commits, and then this pull request merge into main. So click on that. These are the files that were changed. Three atomic commits. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, this is great. This is great. So, and just like to reiterate, the main reason I'm doing this is so that my users can have this functionality when they're programming. Like, if you've never programmed in your life before, I know you're not going to know what Git is. And it's not like I'm gonna go get a cookie out of the jar, right? It is like G-I-T, like JIT, you know what I'm saying? But like with the G, like JIT. It was like how JIT was spelled back in the day, but it's Git, dog. And that is a whole nother can of worms that like no one should have to like really learn, because all it is just like, video games mastered this a long time ago. It's called, save points. You literally just press save, right? Like, yeah. I guess they probably could have made it a little bit less complicated, Git, but it is what it is. So that's why I'm here, to make it less complicated for everybody. Let's see. PR successfully merged. Everything looks good. Yeah, everything looked good on GitHub as well. So we got this feature done in the devlog. I love this. I was really coming on the devlog to kind of like show it off, but of course in a perfect devlog fashion, something doesn't work. So we have to bug fix, and you saw live representation of me working through the bugs to get the job done, to make my app just a little bit better today for tomorrow. All right, guys, peace for now.